What a fantastic thing to be standing on an island in the middle of the Chobe floodplain. Fantastic. I can't tell you how blown away I am about this boat, the whole experience, the whole thing. It's just, love it, absolutely love it. I want to retire, I want to buy myself.
I've been touring Namibia with my brother-in-law Tom Roberts, who is a fellow adventurer, and I'm here to revisit a place where 20 years ago I came for my honeymoon. But right now I'm being pampered in luxury on board the Etosha houseboat on the Chobe River. And the other purpose of my visit is to test the Volkswagen Amarok double cab.
This is the equivalent of your Land Rover 6-seater game vehicle, except it's a boat. Same concept, but very different and much nicer. This is Elephant Bay. Etosha is now moored for the night, and guests can get on their little motorboats and go out for a game drive, or a game motor, or whatever you want to call it. This is Elephant Bay because obviously it's a favourite of elephants. No elephants right now, but you can see it is a favourite of elephants because the floodplain is littered with elephant prints. This guy, Barbel, is probably, I don't want to put my hands in his mouth because I'll get nailed, it's probably in the region of 12, 13 pounds, I'd say, if not more. Fantastic. I had set up my vehicle, I'd opened a couple of doors, I'd had something to eat, it was completely dark, pulled out a little table, opened my laptop, and the next thing this lion roared. And he was there. He was as far as that railing away. He was just the other side of the car, and both car doors was open.
Oh my God. After a wonderful breakfast, sadly it's time to say goodbye to the Etosha.
Of all the places that I've been to in the many, many years I've been making these films, I cannot remember a time when I am more disappointed to leave the accommodation that I've enjoyed for the night. The Etosha houseboat is exceptional. Not cheap, but the experience, I will remember it forever. And one of the reasons why I'll remember it forever is this. Right, next stop, Chingo River Lodge, Chobe River Lodge. This lodge actually supports the houseboat we've just come off of, and the lodge is here mainly for fishing, which means that Tom is in his element, of course. He's already caught one and I haven't, so I'm out again to try and catch up with him. Fat chance.
Tom is an avid fisherman. No, let me put it this way. An expert fisherman, and he embarrasses me every time we go fishing. And here's why.
Typical.
Okay, hold it, and then you'll be...
Well done, Tom. I intend to uphold Andrew White tradition of having a fantastic day's fishing and not eating fish in the evening. But I have to say this, it was a fantastically exciting day. We hooked many tigers and I didn't land any, Tom landed one. Have a look at that. What you see behind me is Linyanti, and this is uncharacteristic of Namibia, because Namibia is dry, it's yellow and orange, and here's Namibia and it's green even now in the dry season. Everything's green. Of course, it's the furthermost eastern point, and it's an area where the ground, the earth is wet, wetlands, rivers everywhere, marshes everywhere. Very, very different from the rest of the country. Now, we're doing two things here. Linyanti, we're in the northern part, we're going to go exploring the river, and as you can probably hear in the background and see from the foreground here, I'm not in the wild, I'm actually at Bala Lodge. This is one of the lodges that serves the Linyanti. To be absolutely honest, having enjoyed all of the luxury for over a week now, I'm tired of it. We've been away from the car for 3 days, and that's been stressful because we've still got a lot of stuff in the car, and it's a lack of independence that's bugging me a bit. And thank you for the luxury, I loved it, but personally I couldn't do a long holiday like this. I like to get into the rough and go exploring, and that's what we're doing tomorrow. This is the Quando River. It meets up with the Linyanti River and eventually meets up with the Chobe River. Part of the Caprivi I've not been to in 22 years.
It's a mini delta. Yes, you get everything here, animals, and it's the best. It's phenomenal. Bird life, the elephants. This year we had about 1,000, 1,200 at some days.
This morning I've actually decided not to go fishing. It's just to stand in the water and enjoy the place. It is like a miniature Okavango. Easy to get to, no doubt cheaper to be here, and so similar in so many ways. It's wonderful.
This place is very special to me. 22 years ago, almost to the day, I spent my honeymoon here. Gun and I loved camping so much that even our honeymoon, yes, we went camping. And I've returned to bask in some very pleasant memories. Arrived at this river. This is the Quando River. And it's changed quite a lot now. But I remember I parked the Land Rover here, and I thought, oh, you know, is it too deep? Can I cross? And I started walking in the water, and somebody came up to me and said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm checking the depth of the river. And actually, Gwen started filming it.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, this is the only way to cross. Well, what they've done now is they've put a whole lot of pole bridges across here. But he said there was the only way to cross, and I had to check the depth. I walked in and I said, are there any crocodiles? No crocodiles here.
Pardon?
No crocodiles here.
I don't know, but there are. Let's die together.
Please don't die, either of you.
Pardon?
Don't die, either of you.
And he followed me into the river. I'll never forget it. This is Lupala Island, part of the Linyanti swamps in southern Caprivi. We would would have to repair the bridge to drive across it, but actually looking around, we can just go around it. There's no water. It'll be a bit sandy, but we can just drive around. We don't need to use these bridges at all. And a piece of old tacky until the last bit.
What am I afraid? There. Just a try. Think of God that they will be able to cross. Please.
Cheerio.
Take care, hey?
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thanks you. We're on Bala Island after a fairly hair-raising river crossing. As I expected, it was quite easy except for the last 20 meters, which was thick black mud. Luckily chose the right gear. I was in low range second. I was thinking about low range third. Thank God I wasn't, because I would not have got through in that gear. It would have been too high. As you can see, other things have changed in 20 years too. Like me, for example. Now it's getting exciting because we're sort of trailblazing. There's a very vague track in front of us. But it's just as exciting because I really don't know where this road leads. There is now a lodge in the area called Lupala. Before it was just called Lupala Island. There were no lodges anywhere in this area. Not one. Now there are several. I think we're going to be going somewhere very, very nice. But we're going to try and find that original floodplain and place that we camped 20 years ago. The hottest time of year in Namibia is October. This is late October, just before the rains, and expect temperatures of 40 degrees. It's a dry heat, so it's tolerable. And I remember being here 22 years ago, very, very hot.
My cameraman, you see, and I can, you know.
You can drive it through. I'll film. Can't go deeper than my knees. The car's maximum wading depth is 500. This is uncannily like the place that Good and I stayed. I don't think it is, but it's very similar. The plain was a bit flatter, but it was like this. There was a river. It was too deep to cross, and so we found a place to camp.
And while Tom tries to catch some dinner, let's have a look at some gadgets.
Right, water purification. I want to show you a few gadgets that I've used over the years. Some ones that I've had for many, many years, and others that I've acquired recently, and a new one that I want to test right now. This is a Katadyn filter. I've had it for about 20 years, and you pump it. It's quite hard work, but incredibly effective in terms of removing even heavy metals, viruses, all bacterias. That's an old one. Here's something interesting. I found in a store in the United States. You fill it up with water. There's the filter. So every time you need to drink, it's filtered right there and right then. I use this on long trips. I just fill it up and leave it in my vehicle. I want to sip, and I'm always sipping clean water. Others that are very well known, filter bags and
chlorination tablets. I don't use them very often. I prefer these others. Now the one I want to show you now is a brand new product. Right, this product is called Platypus Gravity Works. Works like a huge saline drip, doesn't it? Dirty water in there, filter through there, clean water in there. 2.5 minutes, about 4 litres. Let's try it out. Right, I've got to fill up this thing with water. The ground is rather swampy. The water is simply being filtered from there into this bag. Isn't that cool? I like that. You know what I like about this? It weighs virtually nothing, and there's nothing to go wrong. And I'm going to trust this one. Well, there you go. I've had a couple of mouthfuls. Tastes fine. That is water that can be drunk. Well, behind me is our little fly camp in the bush. Momoli, the national park in which we are now located, is unique in that it is uncontrolled. You pay an entrance fee, but that's it. When you ask where are the campsites, they say camp wherever you are comfortable. And this is very, very unusual. In South Africa, in Southern Africa, this is not permitted. And I guess that this is not going to be permitted here for very much longer, because they're building the road. There are bound to be lodges, there are going to be concessions. So if you want a place that is untouched, wilderness, where you can camp anywhere, and there's big 5 game around, come to Momoli, come to Southern Caprivi, and do it soon. Because I guarantee you, within a few years, the doors are going to be closed like everywhere else. Well, this is our final evening. Well, officially our final evening. From tomorrow we actually head back south, back home. On the way we'll have another bush camp, but like this one. It's been a brilliant, brilliant trip.